All right, moving on to the next page of the notes, continuing our discussion of section 2.1. We're going to talk about polynomials. All right. A polynomial is a monomial or a sum of monomials. Now remember, subtracting is just adding negatives, so it could also be a difference of monomials. Each monomial is called a term of the polynomial. A polynomial with 2 terms is a binomial. Polynomial with 3 terms is a trinomial. So what we need to remember is mono is 1. So mono is 1, bi is 2, like a bicycle, 2 wheels. Tri is 3, like a tricycle, and poly means many. So a polynomial could have many terms, but it might only have 1. Binomial has 2, trinomial has 3. All right, so here's an example of a binomial, and here's an example of a trinomial. Notice 5x plus 2, there are 2 things added together, 2 monomials added together. This trinomial has 3 monomials added together. The degree of a polynomial is the greatest degree of its terms. So this trinomial right here has a degree of 2, because the first term has a degree 2, the second one is 1, and the last one is 0. Degree of the polynomial is the largest or greatest degree of its individual terms. This binomial right here has a degree of 1. Okay, so we need to understand that idea. What we have is something else called standard form. A polynomial in one variable, we only do this with one variable. If you have one variable, we call it standard form when the exponents are going down from biggest to smallest as we go from left to right. This example right here shows you a polynomial in standard form. Notice the powers go from 3 to 2 to 1 to 0, x to the 0 power. So standard form, the powers have to be going down on the variable. When we write a polynomial in standard form, the leading coefficient is the number multiplying, or the coefficient. We should understand that phrase coefficient, or that term coefficient, that vocabulary. Coefficient is the number that multiplies with the variable part. So leading coefficient is 2. We have a coefficient of 1 here, but that's not the leading, because the leading coefficient is the coefficient of that first term when it is in standard form. Okay, and then the constant term is the term that doesn't involve a variable. So lots of vocabulary in this section. We're going to look at an example of how to write a polynomial in standard form. We're going to identify the degree and the leading coefficient of that polynomial. So notice we have 15x to the first minus x to the third plus 3. So if we're going to put it in standard form, we're going to switch the order so that we have the negative x to the third in front. The 15x is second. Notice I put a plus sign there because it's adding to that. And notice we could write it this way. That's 15x plus negative x to the third plus 3, right? We just don't usually write them that way, but we could think about it that way. Subtracting is the same as adding the opposite. So when we switch the order, we have negative x to the third plus 15x plus 3. We can change the order that we add terms together. The degree of this polynomial is 3. That's going to be our largest exponent. That's the degree. Once you have it in standard form, just look for that largest exponent. The leading coefficient is the coefficient of that highest power term. So in this case, our highest power term is the negative x to the third, and there's a negative 1 sitting in front of that. So that leading coefficient in this case is negative 1. All right, moving on to example 3, classifying polynomials. So we're going to classify them according to, well, first we're going to put them in standard form. We're going to identify the degree, and we're going to classify by the number of terms. So remember, monomial has 1 term, binomial has 2, trinomial has 3. Anything past that, we just call it a polynomial with 4 terms or 5 or however many there are. So part A, the polynomial is negative 3z to the fourth. I'll put a little extra line there so it doesn't start to look like a 2. And the standard form is the same. There's only one term, so there's nothing to change order for. The degree is 4, and since there's only one term, it is a monomial. Monomial. Okay, the second one, 4 plus 5x squared minus x. If we switch the order of the terms, we have 5x squared minus x plus 4. Notice the powers go down. 2, 1, no x term at all, or I should say no x to the power. The degree of that one is 2. And that one's going to be a trinomial because it has 3 terms. The last one, 8q plus q to the 5th power. Switch the order a little bit so that highest power term is in front. They're both positive, so it's 8q, q to the 5th plus 8q, right? And identifying the degree of that is 5. It is a binomial because it has 2 terms. Q to the 5th and 8q are the terms. I want you to notice that on this first one, the leading coefficient is negative 3. Remember, look at it in standard form when you're looking for the leading coefficient. For the first one, the leading coefficient is negative 3. For the second one, the leading coefficient is 5. It's this 5 right here. Leading coefficient is 5 on the second one. And for the last one, the leading coefficient is 1. And that's page 2.